Welcome back, everybody. What an awesome stream. I was just on with cryptographics, where we went deep on just the different game theory aspects of team and all the pools versus Maximus. Awesome stream. Go follow him if you're not. Cryptographics. Had an awesome time. He's made some awesome content about Maximus, about some of the other stuff we're working on. So I highly appreciate him. So please, if you're following me, you got to go follow Cryptographics. He knows what's going on. What's up, chat? There were so many people during that stream. We didn't, because we were just in such deep discussion on this. We didn't even get to a lot of the questions in the chat. So hopefully, if you had questions and you were watching that, feel free to drop them in here in the chat, and we'll try to get everything answered. Crypto Gains Club says, sup dip, sup Crypto Gains Club, DCR. Value Brand, what's up, dude? What's up, Hexicans? What's up, Tin Top? I need a top hat. Dope music. Oh, yeah, it's one of my favorite artists named Flamingosis. I started listening to him when I was like a freshman in college because someone that lived across the dorms from me, across the hallway in the dorms, he actually made music with Flamingosis. So this was like back, he had no followers anywhere. He's grown a pretty good audience on Spotify, and his shows are just amazing. So I've been to a couple of shows. First show I went to was in Austin, Texas. It was like he was like the first opener at this, like, it was an outdoor concert venue, and it was like muddy because it was raining all day, almost no one there. Then later on that weekend, I saw him at like this tiny show at South by Southwest, almost an empty room. It was like this underground venue. Truly an amazing performance. His whole discography going back like 10 years more is just amazing. Like, you can literally listen to every single album and mixtape and just everything from front to end, and it's just like perfect music throughout. Like, truly, it's like the best music on earth. So his name is Flamingosis. Go check him out. Some other really awesome, I'm glad you brought this up. Hey girl, you like Rising Crust Pizza? I think everyone should listen to the song because there's this one sound in the song. It's like this like intergalactic ripple that, like, when I picture the universe having been formed, I picture this to be the sound that it made. So here, I'll play this real quick. But yeah, go follow Flamingosis. Go listen to all his music. Basically, no one like you'll introduce to people and they'll be like blown away because like not many people know about him. So definitely one of my favorite artists. Go check him out. But I'll play you that intergalactic ripple real quick. It's coming up. See, I swear that, like, when I picture the creation of the universe, like, that had to have been what it sounded like. What's up, Crypto Cliff Notes? How cool it's got to be to see a token you created on a price chart. Yeah, it is awesome. I was just looking at the price chart. It's truly amazing to just show that, like, there's real demand for this. Like that, you're right. It does feel really cool. And for Maximus, what's up? Tin Top says, good show with Cryptographics. Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. That was truly amazing. What's up, Angor? OX Will, my guy. Ryan, what's up? Thanks again. This is awesome. Thank you. Hey, yay. Saw last one. Cool, GFRX. I'm an original MAXI minter now holding plus liquid X. How do you see numbers going in all MAXI pool token post PLS launch? I guess good question. I'll get to that when we pull up the spreadsheet. Let's just make sure we say hi to everyone first. That was a pitched up dance hall riser, wasn't it? What? Intergalactic ripple sounds like a strain of herb. Yeah, it could be. That'll be ours. Great cryptographic stream. Now giving us more. Yep, it's that time. We've got 20 people. I have only 360p quality here. Anyone else have this issue? I don't know. Hopefully get that sorted out. What's up, name? That was the sound of Maxis being created. Yeah, that probably was. I hit the deploy button. It was like. What's up, Hexagon Wrestler? Is inevitable that MAXI loses premium. I don't want to hold and get wrecked again while everyone else doubles their stack of hex. Well, that's who knows what happens to it, like, and first, like, what do you measure the MAXI premium against? Like, do you measure it against the minting, which is 1-to-1? Do you measure it against what each MAXI has earned to date, which is like 1.08 hex? Do you measure it against what you think that MAXI is going to earn throughout the whole lifetime, which, like we showed on the spreadsheets, like somewhere maybe 6 conservatively? So, what do you benchmark it against? It also matters when you bought. Did you mint it? Did you buy it? Because then that impacts your ROI. So it's really kind of your choice and your assessment of whether you think there's going to be more demand. There's probably going to be cycles of premium and cycles of discount. So it all depends on when you think you want to have it. So, truly your guess is good as mine. Name of the album from them to listen. So the first one, like the oldest one, it's not the oldest one, but one of the old greats that was launched that Flaming Ghost has put out in probably, I don't know, like 2021, it'd be Kahuna Style, which I think that's what this came from. Let's see. So Kahuna Style. This is a good one. Kahuna Style full album. It's so great. Like, this is truly here. I'm gonna drop these in the chat. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? So Kahuna Style is great. The most recent one, Cosmic Field, Daymaker. This is another all-time great. Like, truly some of the best music on earth is on this. And when we close out this video, we're going to play the Cosmic Feelings. There's one song on here that's just like probably the best song ever made. So this is like a more recent one. I'll share that in the chat. And then he did a bunch of these, especially during lockdown. He was doing these mixtapes that were called Mood Providers. So, like, I love Mood Provider 7 was great. Mood Provider 2 was also great. Where's Mood Provider 2? Yeah, this one. This one's awesome. So there's some music for you guys. All right, so let's get into, maybe we'll keep this playing while we'll turn the volume down. So ideally you can hear me and you can kind of hear the music.
What's up?
So reply in chat if you think the sound is fine, because we'll just keep that on in the background.
Hope you're washing your hands, some vegetables.
That may be too loud. It was quite loud. All right, no music. We're just going to go into this. So pretty much what we were going over on the cryptographic stream was just like the different dynamics of team staking and team minting. So him and I were talking on the phone earlier this week, and it prompted me to just kind of try to just put all this stuff in a model. So here, what I made is just like a spreadsheet that lets you put in some of the key inputs, and then estimate what you think the earnings per team staked could be from each of the perpetual pools. And so so pretty much like there's a couple main drivers in it, and these are what the variables are. So it's like what percent of the MAXI that you think is going to be minted into team, because that's what sets the supply. What percent of team on any given year do you think is going to be staked, because then that sets the the denominator for that payout per team staked. And then what you think the principal is going to be for these stake pools, base, trio, lucky, and deci. And then what you think the average payout per T share is going to be throughout the duration of each of these pools. So those are like the four main drivers in this, where if I was to rank them, the number one factor is the principal on these perpetual pools. So in terms of importance, that's the big one. If these are big, that payout's going to be big. If these are small, payout's going to be small, because the earnings from that team gets, the earnings that team stakers receive, only comes from the yield that was produced as a result of the bigger pays better bonus. And so that ends up being, like for a small stake, like here, let's just do an example here. So say, what if base was only 1 million hex? So that would mean that the total earnings of base is only going to be 117,000, and then the total team earnings are 65 hex. So team, if base is only 1 million hex, team stakers after a year are only getting 65 hex split up amongst all of the team that exists. And so a way to show just like the impact that the bigger pays better bonus has is if we look at percent of total value. And so right here, let's calculate what the percent that the team earnings are of the total value of that stake. So that would mean that we need to get team earnings divided by the principal plus the total earnings of that stake. So for a very small stake here, and let's continue this on. We'll do this for all of them. So, and then let's make these all the same. So if all of these stakes are 1%, then, or are only 1 million, then the percent of the total value of the stake that gets paid to team is very small. So team's compensation is purely performance driven. Like there's no so that's like completely fair, because the whole purpose of team is to incentivize the growth of these. And so if team is underperforming, then the percent of the total stake value that they get should be small, because they're not doing their job. So if these pools are really small, then the percent of the total value that they get is small. And like you look here, like the hex per team staked is very small, because there's a lot more team than there's hex that it's receiving, because team didn't put out the word and get people to stake in the pools. So like that's one way to look at just the impact of bigger pays better on these, is that like if there's small stakes, they're not getting much. But like, so say we increase that by 10, so multiply by 10, that increases that value, or if we were to do, this was to be 100 million, that starts creeping up this percent of total value. And then So now it's like 150, 123, 123. So as we ratchet up the principal size, the hex per team staked increases, and that percent of the total value increases. But, so let's see how big it is on really big stakes. You see it start to cap out. So even on like the largest stake possible, the total amount that could possibly be paid to team on Deci never exceeds 2.49% of the total earnings. So like if these pools are massive, then that's like the maximum earnings. So like there is like a hard cap there, but there's no cap to the downside. So it's like already like weighted massively in favor of the perpetual pool holders. And that's to ensure that the team people are incentivized to promote the growth. And if they don't grow these pools, then they're not getting anything. So that's like the big driver in all of this is definitely these, this stake size. So because that's like the top line, like total amount of team earnings. So that's like the number one factor. And then from there, probably like the secondary factor. I mean, and in tune with this, it's what is the payout going to be over this time period? And I've talked pretty extensively about what drives this up and down. I like to bake in just like modest growth. I think it's going to grow a little bit. But also assuming current daily payout per T share remains constant is actually a totally fine estimate. The way that all works out. So like keeping these estimates pretty modest, I think is pretty wise to do. And it's better to underestimate than overestimate. So that's like, secondary to this because that all dictate the principal and the average payout per T share. That's what dictates the total earnings, and the total earnings are where the team earnings come from. So that's like the top line value. So if you're trying to estimate like these top line figures, you come here because that's what gets you to the to like the top line total amount of hex that's getting paid to team. And then from there, you estimate how many team is that distributed up amongst. So that's where you get into things like, what percent of the total MAXI do you think are going to be minted into team? So do you think that a lot of the MAXI holders are going to want to upgrade their MAXI into team and then capture, rather than just capturing the MAXI earnings, do they want to capture the earnings of all of these pools? Because during the time that MAXI is going on, there are 15 individual base pools, 5 individual trio pools, 2 individual lucky pools, and 1 complete decimus pool. So what is that? 15 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1. So 15 plus 8. So that, what is that? 23 unique pools that are paying into it on top of the team price appreciation. So like people that choose to mint team with MAXI, they're making the statement that they think that the value of the total hex earnings from all the perpetual pools plus the value appreciation of the team token is going to exceed the value of the MAXI. So that's basically like what every person has to determine what they think is going to happen. And it's a very tough decision. Now, I was saying this on his stream, and I'll say it again. This was made deliberately difficult to decide. Getting like choosing whether you're going to upgrade your MAXI into team, that's a huge decision because, if team outperforms MAXI, you experience gain. If team underperforms MAXI, you experience loss. And so that's a tough decision. And also it's like you have to part with something that's very valuable. Team people treasure and cherish their MAXI. And so it was made deliberately difficult on purpose because, one, we wanted a very strong benchmark. We wanted it to be a very difficult decision to be made. And 2, like we want people to really value their team. And so having to part with something that you already really cherish and value, we think that injects like a baseline of value into teams. So that's part of it. 2, if that decision is so difficult, then, and that causes less people to mint MAXI, then that's just more room to the upside. So like if there's not many people that mint team, then one, that increases the amount of dry powder that's on the side and people that didn't get in that may want to get in future once reality sets in and they feel some regret. But then two, having a smaller amount of total team, that increases the amount of payout per team staked. And so in like a head-to-head comparison, that could make team more lucrative than MAXI if just the total number of team minted is low. And so that could cause team to increase. That's like a baked-in pumpamental. Is it like a lot of people probably aren't? They're probably going to miss the boat, and they're going to feel so strongly, committed to their MAXI that they're going to not do this, and so that's going to increase the payouts for everybody else. So there's some pumpamental design in there with making it a really tough decision to make, and then also if people so cherish their team. Or so cherish their MAXI that they don't want to part with it to mint team. And then suddenly, what if there's like a massive team MAXI liquidity pool? What if someone that has a bunch of team and a bunch of MAXI decides to make a liquidity pool? And then what if like the team price is like kind of roughly bounded to the MAXI price as a result of just the main market being MAXI team? If so many people demand their MAXI so much and they don't want to part with it, and that's a really strong asset to backstop your market against, because as MAXI grows in value, then team can also grow in value. So, making the MAXI to team minting only limited to MAXI, we think that injects a lot of energy into the system. It injects a lot of unknowns into the system. And anytime there are unknowns, that's opportunity. Because if everything was certain and everything was known already, then everything would already be priced in and there's not much gain you can have from there. But because there are these unknowns involved, unknown means risk means reward. And so that's the upside opportunity that can hopefully be achieved through just the design of the minting. I think more funds would have came in had minting been expanded to other tokens, but purposefully and intentionally limiting that to you have to mint with MAXI, it makes that decision really tough, which I think injects value. And then it also self-selects a cohort of users who are really committed to this, and that's really who we want to be experiencing the upside of this. Like, we don't want like pump chasers to be the ones that capitalize on the gain in all of this. Like, we want the people that are truly committed to expanding the stake pooling ecosystem. We want them to be the ones that experience the upside. And who are on this team, because that's what this all is. Like team, like you're joining our team. Like by holding team, you're joining the Maximus DAO team. And so we want there to be a lot of strength, a lot of resolve, and a lot of gumption from that cohort of users. And I think making a very difficult decision where there's serious opportunity cost involved and serious risk, we think that self-selects for a really strong group of users that's going to be the foundation for the future of this ecosystem. So that's what went into the thinking behind the MAXI minting. And then from there, it's just like a matter of like how much you think is going to be minted. So here, like I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make another copy of this. And we're going to do it. We're going to just copy of a copy. And I'm going to go ahead and just share this in the chat so that people can share with others. Oops, now you guys have my email. Well, that sucks. Good thing these are not important emails and I don't even look at email. So if you email me, I probably won't reply. So I don't even look at them. And then anyone can, it's okay. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share this. So here's a copy of the spreadsheet that you can kind of toggle around with, and maybe you can work on this alongside while I go through this. But so let's just do some examples here. Let's explore the boundaries. So what if only 1% of MAXI is minted in a team? So that would mean that 2.94 million MAXI is minted, and then because after the minting, a copy of all the minted team is made and then minted into what's called the mystery box. So the total supply of team is going to be 5.8 million if only 1% of MAXI is minted. And then let's go on we'll toggle from small to big. So, and then here, let's make a little matrix here. So lots of minting, and then on one side, and then, or so small minting, medium minting, big minting. Oh, wait. I'm going to do it on this one. So you guys have fun with this copy, because now everyone has this link. I'll be in here. So small minting, medium minting, big minting, and we're going to go small staking rate, medium staking rate, high. And then, so if 10%, so now let's see, 1% of the MAXI is minted into team. And then let's do and then let's just, the baseline I like to start with is so let's say 150 million per pool. That'd be about half of MAXI size for each of these pools. And that's like the goal. Like all these pools, I really hope are over 150 million, max out the bigger pays better bonus. But let's just treat that as like the goal for these. And then, because so say that we have, let's start small. So 1% of MAXI is minted, 1% of the team is staked. So then that means that and then now let's look at what we're just going to look at. We're going to assume that, so just for these assumptions, just for this thought experiment here, we're going to say that we're going to be looking at the hex per team staked across just like one of each of these. So this isn't like something that, it's not saying that like, this number of hexes is going to get paid out. This is like, if you only calculate the earnings from one base stake, one trio stake, one lucky, and one deci stake, like what is the earnings per team stake from one of each of those pools? Just as this is a frame of reference here. This isn't like some future earnings estimate. It's just like for each of these pools, what is the sum of that? And that's hex per team staked, and that's what this number is right here. So if that's the case, so let's just copy that here. So 560, it's like 569 if small minting, small staking, because 1% minted, 1% staked, small, 569. Now let's look at, okay, if a larger number, so let's say 50% of the total, that might be too high because then the 100%. So let's just do, I don't know, actually, fuck it. Let's do it. So 50% of MAXI minted, 1% staked. Now that kind of brings things back down to earth, and that puts it at 11.37. So medium minting, and then low staking, that puts it at 11. Now let's look at what a high staking would be. So let's say 99%. So if 99% of MAXI is minted into team and only 1% of the team stakers mint, or if only 1% of team minters stake, then that like benchmark hex per team staked is 5.7 that you see right there at the bottom. So 5.74. Now let's do this the other way. So let's go back to small stake rate and let's toggle through these again. So 50% team stake rate, small stake rate, hex per team staked is like 11.37. Right there at the bottom. That's the number we're looking at. So now let's look at 99% team stake rate. $5.7. So, that kind of makes sense, right? Because it's like divided over the same units. So 5.74. So massive minting percentage rates across very small minting rates, or massive staking percentages across small minting rates is the same as small stake percentages across big minting rates. So it's kind of a yin and a yang thing there. So now let's look at mediums across these. So let's say 50% of MAXI's minted and 50% of the team staked. That's like a nice baseline. That's maybe more reasonable. So in that case, look at that. It jumps down in a huge way because now it's like much more competitive to stake. And so then that would put the earnings across each of these at 0.22. So 0.22. Maybe we should have included a 15-year. No, we'll finish this and then we may revisit these by looking at a different number. So 0.22 across at 50. Now, so if we keep the minting percent at 50 and the team staking rate low, oh wait, did I do this backwards? No. So medium is there. So medium minting and small staking. Did we already do that? 11.37. So medium. Oh yeah, we already got the number there. Okay, so now let's do big team staking, medium percent. That puts it at 0.11. So that's medium minting, high staking. That puts it at 0.11. And then now let's go to big minting. So like 99%. So high. That puts that really small 0.05. And then medium, and then big minting, and then medium staking. That puts us at 0.11. So that's kind of the dynamic you see here. Is it like small staking is just in general bigger than high staking? All these numbers are much bigger than these numbers here. But then on the other hand, like small minting and small staking, that's big payout per team staked. Small minting increases that for you as the staker. So like you as a team minter and team staker, you want there to be less of other people minting, and so it kind of works in both ways there. So that's like just like how to think about how those numbers change over time. And so that's just like on the extremes, and we're only looking at like the payout of like an individual. So that's across 4 pools instead of, what do we say, 23, including 15 base, 5. So all the pools that would exist in a 15-year period. We're just talking about 4 of those pools, like one of each of these on these numbers, and that's just to get the idea of like how small minting, small staking means big payout, big minting, big staking percentage equals small payout. And so, and then that's with constant pool size. The pool size just scales these up and down, but the like percent differences across them is going to be different. So that's just like, one scenario there. I don't think that 1% of MAXI, I mean, honestly, maybe 1% of MAXI could get minted. I don't think that 99% of the MAXI can get minted. MAXI is just too valuable to that there's almost no unless these pools are so big, like unless these are like billion hex pools, I don't see that size. So maybe let's like, just for another like one, like, so on the second kind of wave of analysis, let's think about if maybe on the low end, we're going to say, 3% of MAXI is minted. And on the high end, let's say, okay, let's do this. Let's do 4% on the low end and 40% on the high end. And then let's do the same for the teams. And then no, for team staking, let's do 20% on the low end and 70%. Here, let's define this here. So this side is going to be minting, and then the low end is going to be 0.4. No. So minting 0.04. A medium range is going to be 0.16, and a high range is going to be 0.32. So very low end, 4% of MAXI's minted into team. On the high end, 32%. And then on the stake rates, staking percent is probably going to be higher, because why would you mint team unless you're going to stake, unless you're waiting to sell into a pump? So maybe on the team staking, let's say, what do you think would be low percent? Maybe 20% would be on the low end, 40% on the medium end, and say 60% on this end. Because if all the team is staked, maybe that makes price go up, and as price goes up, people might unstake and then just sell into the pump. So there's probably some upper bound on just how high the team staking percent could be. But let's just consider these as like our estimates here. So here, this is staking, and let's merge these cells and center that. Let's make it bold. Minting, we're going to merge these cells. Vertical line center. Let's even center this one. And we are going to make this one there. Let's get some big, thick. This is like our upper level. So there it is. Let's do these ones thicker. Oh, shit. So wrap that one in thick bands. Wrap this one in thick bands. And then maybe wrap these ones in medium. The inner borders in medium. And then maybe these small ones, let's wrap those in just the regular. And then the whole outer perimeter, we'll make those big and thick. Okay, so here we have, so now let's just kind of work through these numbers. Let's just look at that. So if the minting rate is that, and the staking rate is that, then that puts, and then also for this one, we're going to look at the 15-year team earnings. So we're going to assume that the stake rate is the stake rate throughout all of them. And we're going to look at what, if these all pay out the same, because that actually very well could happen, because these could get the same amount of T shares, like on the second go around, even with more hex, they have to have that extra hex to get roughly similar amount of T shares. So just for simple assumption, let's just assume that we're going to calculate the earnings for 15 base stakes, 5 trio stakes, 2 lucky stakes, and 1 deci stake. So all of the earnings that will come out during the MAXI period. And we're going to compare the earnings, the total earnings across these different ones to the earnings that we think MAXI could be, which is going to be around like 6.5, depending on what the burn is, because with high burn, that is going to go up. But, with these estimates, how much is each MAXI going to be worth measured in hex? And we're going to compare that to how much hex each team is going to be earning. So 4% MAXI minted, 20% stake rate. That puts this 15-year team earnings, 15-year hex earnings per team staked, 22.6. So let's just chug through this. Percent of MAXI minted into team at the 20% rate. Now we need the middle one at the same 20% one. That puts that earning at 9.44. And then now with the minting rate at the big one at 32%, we see that go to 7.4. Okay, so now let's call minting the same, and then now the staking is going to be ratcheting up. So that equals 40% stake rate at the 32% mint rate. That puts it at 3.7. And then now with this staking percentage, it's going to go higher. So that means that this payout is going to be lower, and that puts it at 2.46. So now let's toggle this one through again. So equals 4%. So that means that we have low minting, high staking. So that's this top right corner, 7.53. And now we have minting at that rate and staking at 0.4. So that's there. And that's so 4 right here, 11.3. Now we need to do minting at 16% and staking at 40%. Yep. That number is 4.72. And now we need 60% staking rate. And that puts this number at 3.14. So just to make this easier, let's put these in percent. Let's put these in percent. So that, I mean, it kind of shows that same shape that we saw earlier. Is it like small minting, small staking, that payout's big. Big minting, big staking, that payout gets smaller. And so, let's think about what that means. So if the minting rate is really high, then that means that the payout needs to be much higher to match those earnings. So although, so if that mint rate is really high and the stake rate is really high, then that means that, you need to, in order to get that roughly like 6 to 7 payout, it's like you want it to be kind of like along this curve here where like you either want really low minting, which will pretty much get you there, or if you have high minting, you want really low stake rates. So that's like the main factor in all this is just like how much is minted and how much is staked. And then that's really what defines if the yield alone is going to exceed the yield measured in hex from holding MAXI instead of minting team with it. And then so that is, and so this only factors in the hex. This doesn't factor in this factors in the rebates. So as this factors in B11 redeemable hex from that rebate. So that's like all the hex that you get by staking in those years, which includes the MAXI you get back. So that helps pad it. But then the payout is, the big driver, as you can see here, is based on the staking percentage. And so then it's, then you just have to ask yourself, like, what percent of the coins are going to be staked, and what does staking do to the price? Because when your coins are staked, you have to be staked for a whole year to earn any of the yield from that year. If you're not calculated in there. And so the payout for everyone else who did successfully stake for the whole year is now higher. And so and so if the coins are locked, because when they're staked, they're actually burnt, just like how when hex is staked, it's burnt. Maybe that causes the price to go up. But then as the price goes up, because you can early unstake your stake team and you experience a penalty, as price goes up, people may reduce their stakes. They may unstake, and they pay a 3.69% penalty per amount that's unstaked early. So then that decreases the total supply of team, and that also decreases the staking percentage. So as the price goes up, maybe we see stake rates, go down because people will be unstaking. You can always unstake and get out of a stake period, but you can't stake into a current stake period. So it's kind of a one-way street. Like once the stake period starts, the stake percentage can only go down. And so maybe as price of team goes up, we see big unstaking, which decreases that staking percentage in those periods, and we see higher payouts because the staking percentage is lower. And so but overall, I mean, just like so these are all based on these 150 million hex stakes. What if these got to 1.5 billion? What if the team members had so much strength and resolve and persistence, and they established really strong marketing channels, and they get these pools massive? Like, what if these are huge? So what if all these are like 1.5? You basically just multiply by 10, because that's like the top, like the big driver here, greater than the staking and minting percent ratios, is just the size of these pools, because that's like the top line payments into the team system, and then from there it's just divided up amongst there. So that's how to think about the relationship between minting and staking. Is it small minting, small staking, big payout, big minting, big staking, small payout, and then everything kind of in between from there. Let's see what kind of damage you guys have done to this copy. Okay, not too many people are on. Anonymous Skunk and Anonymous Raccoon. I see big, small minting, medium staking. That's pretty cool. So let's check out the chat. Oh shit, this was up. Okay, so measured against awesome. What's up? My plan is to recycle all yield back into obtaining as much MAXI and DESI as possible. It's a pretty good strategy. Hello, all gladiators. 5555. What's up? Nice. More of the Sue of you, Dip Catcher. Thank you, Uni. We need this. BTC already known, no opportunity. These are better. Hey, I think so too. What's up, Hexographer? If there would be some airdrops, would we be able to participate in them with base, trio, lucky, Desi, and team? No, you cannot, because for security reasons, we make sure that there's no open-ended contract calling, which you usually have to do to secure an airdrop. So there's no, if there are airdrops, that's just our gift to everyone else who does get the airdrop, that we're not going to compete with you as sellers. So no, if there's an airdrop that comes out to hex stakers and you don't get it from here and you really want it, just buy some of it. Like, airdrops really are, I mean, they do turn significant, but if you really want it, just buy it. If you think it's going to go up more than the thing you have, then just buy it, and that's just our gift. And that's just like, what you have to, you have to bear that, because there's zero tolerance for bearing any risk of any type of nefarious smart contract coming in and putzing with it. So making sure that no open-ended smart contracts can be called is like the first step in security in the whole system. So sadly, airdrops, not a thing in us. Why would someone mint but not stake? Maybe just to sell into price action. That's one reason. Because if everyone, if everyone kind of has that, same perspective, then you're like, okay, everyone's going to be staking. And if everyone's staking, that means that the seller's market's not going to be too competitive. And so maybe you can sell for a really high price. And maybe that the gain you get from selling at a high price is greater than what you would have earned staking. So that's why you might mint but not stake. I saw a chart showing 129,000 hex T share rate by 2036. So you can kind of estimate what it would be by calculating the lifetime earnings find the oldest, largest stake that ends in 2036. So maybe like a week one stake that ends in 2036, and then calculate how much hex you think it's going to earn, and then and then calculate how many T shares that the total principal plus earnings to date would get. And with the T share rate, that would ensure that all the hex principal and yield for an equally length stake could not exceed that new share rate. So what is that? He's saying that 129,000 hex per T share, current T share rate's like 23. If we think that like the share rate or the an earnings for a max length stake is going to be going up by, say, okay, for those big ones, I mean, some of those early big stakes are earning like over 100% APY per year. So say that they 15x their thing, then the share rate from when they started goes 15x, and the share rate at the start was like, I don't know, a couple thousand. So 15 times 2,000, say. Is that right? I don't know. That may be high. Well, I don't know. Let's think about this. If a max length stake starting today, I don't know. Big payday definitely kind of interrupts that chart. You can calculate it, but just calculate how many T shares that a max, or how many hex that you think the earliest, longest max length stake is going to get, and then whatever that total amount of hex from principal and yield is, divide that by a share rate that's equal, that gets you the same number of T shares, and then that's the new share rate. So that's what I would look at for that. Hey, Sweaty Edits, howdy. I can see Maximus perpetual pools eventually causing the average APY for hex staking to decrease. Yeah, that's very true. If these stake pools are so big that they're competing for that yield, then that total yield is going to go down for everyone. But that means less liquid hex, so maybe the value of the yield goes up. So it's kind of the yin and the yang there. Hex Token says, great stream. Thank you so much. Okay, it's better so. Better secure than perhaps lose them. You're right, when possible, reserve risk. Yeah, that's right. All right, do not click these links. Do not click these. These question I got onboarding. Yep, report. That's right. These scammers in here. So I guess one other question that we can get to that somebody asked in the chat was about, on the cryptographic stream that I didn't get to answer, was what happens if mystery box stakes? So the mystery box, the team that it gets, that's totally valid team. Like that can stake, it cannot stake. Literally, there's no difference in that team versus any other team. So the mystery box could absolutely stake. And so people are asking what that does to, so in these estimates here on the spreadsheet, this includes a mystery box. So like, say 50%, say the mystery box didn't stake at all. And everyone else but the mystery box staked 100% of it, then the total team staking percentage would be 50% here. And so I actually have another spreadsheet. Let me import this into here. Because this is actually helpful. So, so right here, this shows if, so like similar how we kind of break these down. So if mystery box was to stake 1%, 50%, 100%, and everyone else was to stake 1%, 50%, 100%, what would these payouts be? So what that is so this comes from assuming that like, because 30% of the minted team goes into this, then you just assume that there's like 100 MAXI minted, and so there's 30 team to distribute amongst everyone. So so if 1% of the mystery box is staked and 1% of everyone else is staked, then that means that the total MAXI, the number of MAXI that is redistributed to each team that's staked, would be like 15 MAXI. So you put in 1 MAXI, you get 1 team, and if you were the 1% of everyone that's staked, you'd get 15 MAXI back across years 3, 6, and 9. So that's very rare. It'd be shocking if 1% of the mystery box and 1% of the team staked got it, because who knows what the mystery box is going to do. And also you have to think, okay, whoever decided on what the mystery box rules would be, like if they intended on staking during that year, or if they intended on staking 100% of it, then wouldn't they have just like baked that into the original calculation? And like, does the mystery box staking 100% and decreasing the payout for everyone else, is that, like, do they gain more by doing that, or do they gain more by allowing that, by making the staking really lucrative for everyone else during those years and driving the price of team up, which the mystery box also got a lot of? So, mystery box absolutely can, and you should have no expectations that the mystery box does anything for your advantage, because you can't. Like, the mystery box is just valid as anyone else. And so, just kind of think, just think about these ranges here. And so, like, if so the mystery box staked 100%, so mystery box was fully staked during the 3, 6, 9 MAXI rebate years, then, and if 100% of everyone else staked, then each team staker gets back 0.15 of their MAXI. So it's like they got a 15% total rebate. And so, that's on that upper bound there. But what if mystery box doesn't stake at all, or they only stake 1% during those years, and say 100% of the everyone else stakes? In that case, it comes out close to that 30%, the 30% rebate. That would put it at about 30%. If mystery box didn't stake, everyone else staked a lot, puts it at 30%. But what if mystery box barely stakes? 1% of mystery box is staked in that year, or across years 3, 6, and 9, and only half of people in the mystery box, or everyone else, stakes. Then that 30% rebate turns into a 60% rebate for the people that staked, because 30% of the total, but only half of the people actually got it. So it doubles. So it comes out to about 60%. So, if the mystery box is low, so there's some threshold here where, let me pull it up on this. Let me get this calculation right. So it's 30 divided by B3, C2. Okay. So B3 plus C. Okay. So here, we're going to go like this. So that's equals 30 divided by that plus that 15. Yep. And then let's lock these in so they stay. And now let's spread that out. Nope. No, I don't need L. I don't need both locked. I need horizontal locked on this side and vertical locked on that side. Okay, so let's fix that. So only horizontal on that side plus the vertical locked on that side. Let's see if that fixes it. Oh no, duh. That's stupid of me. L2 needs to be locked, and then K needs to be locked, and 3 doesn't. Okay, that's all right. So let's take this down a little bit. Let's just toggle this here. So let's say that like 20% of everyone else stakes and mystery box doesn't stake. Or let's actually find that threshold. Let's just we could calculate it directly. Okay, maybe it's 33-ish. Nope, a little less than that. So like 29. Okay, so if mystery box doesn't stake, or 1%. So basically, mystery box doesn't stake. I didn't do 0 in here just to make the divisibility better. So if mystery box basically doesn't stake, and 29% of everybody else stakes, so pretty low stake rate, that would suggest that the team price would be really high because people aren't competing for the stake yield, especially during these years, because that's, a lot of people are going to be staking during these rebate years. And because 3, 6, and 9 also were like that during that year, it's earning base and trio. So people are probably going to be staking. So who knows what's going to happen, but this could be very far-fetched. But what I'm showing here is that if across years 3, 6, and 9, if only 29% of people stake, then those stakers are actually getting their MAXI back in full on top of all the other yield they're earning. So there is a chance, if mystery box does not stake, which you shouldn't assume that it will. You should assume that mystery box stakes all of it. Like, that's the default assumption, is that nothing benefits you. You should have no expectations of profit. So you should assume that the mystery box stakes it all. But if they stake none of the mystery box team, and if only 29% of everyone else stakes, then those 29% of the stakers get back all of their MAXI they had parted with. And the MAXI they get back is worth more because 20% of the MAXI that was minted got burnt. So that is a possibility. But maybe it's not, it's probably going to be higher. Like, I don't see how it would be any lower than, like, say, I don't know, say like 70%. And so if that's the case, then and mystery box does not stake, then that puts it at 42% of the MAXI is rebated to those team stakers. So those team stakers experienced it where they minted one team, they got one team per one MAXI that was going in. And then 30% of that MAXI gets redistributed. But since that 30% is distributed over less than 100%, then it goes up. So those users would experience getting back 42% of their MAXI. So let's find a number. Let's find what percent of everyone else but the mystery box staking percent would cause this to be 50%. So we saw that it was really high when that number was low. So let's say maybe 60%. Yeah, so that was a good guess. So let's make it a little lower, maybe 59. Yep. So if 59% of everyone except the mystery box stakes, and only 1% of the mystery box is staked, then that 59% of team stakers will get back half of their MAXI that they parted with. And so, that's kind of the dynamic there with MAXI and mystery box, is that the mystery box absolutely can stake, and you should assume that it will. But if it doesn't, or if it doesn't stake a lot, even here, like if only half of it's staked, then, and 100% of people stake, then, MAXI minters or team minters get back 20%. So, this can be helpful in letting you kind of toggle through these different amounts. And that's kind of how you have to think about it. So maybe I'll share a new link to this copy afterwards, but yeah. Name asks, could mystery box LP? Absolutely. I mean, it has a bunch of MAXI and a bunch of team, and maybe the mystery box, because they have a lot of both, maybe they care a lot about having an active market for it. So yeah, and they'd probably be in the best position to LP on the MAXI teams pair. So yeah, 100% mystery box. A bunch of those team in the mystery box could absolutely be in a liquidity pool, and if those team are in a liquidity pool, they're not staking, and so they're not competing for that payout. And so that if the team, so then that decreases the total staking percentage and could increase the payout per team staked. Mystery box seems like a deep rabbit hole. Yeah, literally. Like, I kind of touched on it in cryptographic stream and in some tweets. Like, mystery box, it is a mystery. It is an absolute mystery. Anything could happen. And so the best way to think about what could happen is just think about what you would do if you controlled the mystery box. What would you do? And whatever you say is in the realm of possibilities. Some people would dump it all on day one. They'd be like, all right, we're done here. We're going to cash out as much as we can. We're going to nuke the price and basically just give free money away to other people. Because what's the worst going to happen? If you sell your, if you know, say the mystery box dumped the team price, then okay, that would mean that the people that like right away, that would mean that the people that minted team could have got more had they just bought. And now they have a dip to DCA into, or new people can just step in and buy the team and then just take over. So now mystery box has no more team. Then from there, it's like the price just kind of goes wherever it goes, but there's no longer the mystery box has any team to sell. And what if they sold all the MAXI right away? Then, okay, MAXI premium turns into a discount. Now it's like a screaming opportunity for all the people that minted Max or didn't mint MAXI. Maybe they can get it less than a 1-to-1 rate. So, you know, mystery box could just dump everything that they have right away, and that absolutely could happen. You know, and basically it just turns into good buying opportunities for everyone else because that MAXI is still redeemable for the, you know, the hex at the end, and that team is still stakeable for the annual yield that they get from all the pools. So, you know, I bet people would be thrilled if mystery box just dumped everything right away. So, you know, that's absolutely a possibility. Opposite end of that is, what if mystery box burnt all the team and burnt all the MAXI? So even further boosted the MAXI redemption rate and further boosted the team payout, because now the circulating supply of team is so much less. There's now half of the team supply that can no longer be sold because it doesn't exist anymore. So it'd be like an airdrop to everyone, where you just effectively double everyone else's team, because now everyone's percent of the total pie doubled if all the team was burnt. So on this whole other opposite end of the spectrum, if the mystery box simply burns all the team and burns all the MAXI, they're basically just giving money away to the team holders and the MAXI holders. So they could do that, you know, and they can do everything in between. So, you know, like, what if the mystery box was then, you know, so then what if they're just providing liquidity? You know, that could help the market there. What if they're like providing edge liquidity, where like if, you know, they have some liquidity in MAXI team on like a symmetrical pair. So, you know, no matter what price they're buying or selling. But then what if, like, you know, they also have some type of like upper range and lower range, where if like price of one, so the ratio of team to MAXI gets like so far in one direction, maybe they sell that down. Maybe they sell into that. And then if it goes in the other direction, maybe they buy into that. So they could be doing kind of like, you know, not just like symmetrical market making, but more like V3 market making, where you're only providing liquidity like in the top range and the bottom range. They could absolutely do that. What else could they do? They could stake their team and get the hex. And then what do they buy with the hex? Do they buy MAXI? Do they buy team? What do they do? You know, they could. Okay, so the way that the team staking contract works is that it is prepared to dole out all of the MAXI and hex and team that goes into the team contract during these staking periods. What if they just decide to be generous and just give some team away to team stakers? All the mystery box would have to do is simply send some team to the team staking contract, and that would just distribute it amongst the team stakers. So what if the mystery box wanted to add in some extra bonuses and just like give a little airdrop to all the team stakers? They could do that in either MAXI or team. What if they did that? You know, what if they, you know, what if there's an exchange that was like, hey, we want a list. Do you have a bunch of liquidity to give? And then, you know, who they ask? Probably the biggest holder of both the coins. So maybe we get a fiat on ramp by means of that, you know, those go to. So what ideas do you have? What, you know, reply in the chat. What would you do if you were the mystery box? And whatever you say, it may as well be, because it could be. It's a mystery, and it will remain a mystery. But the thing that it's not a mystery is that it's all going to be traceable, right? Because it's all on chain. Everyone's going to know what it is. you'll be able to see it. It's not like there's like tornado cash for MAXI or for team. So like you'll be able to see things unfold. So that won't be a mystery. But as far as like knowing what's going to happen, that absolutely will be a mystery. And you should have no expectations of any positive result as a, from anything related to the mystery box. Are you able to share the sheet? Yeah, here I'm going to make a copy of this one, copy of a copy. Okay, now let's share this one. Anyone with the link? Okay, so here, I'll put it in the chat there. So there's the spreadsheet. The spammers is a bullish sign. Yeah, that's right. They think y'all are rich. Rabbit hole, happily looking at what will happen. Yeah, total rabbit hole. He shared a doc up in the chat. Yep. Mad scientist Tonto in the mystery box. Yeah, that's right. Do you guys remember playing 500 where you'd like throw the football like 200 and then that person would be up? Remember, mystery box, dead or alive? And you fucking throw it across the street and your friend runs like it's hit by a car trying to get it. Like that's probably what the mystery box is going to be like. You need some moderators for spammers and stuff. Yep, that would be nice. We have some awesome moderators in our Telegram chat. Sandy Beach, what's up? Hey, Sandy, not the dude. Is the AI contract running the mystery box with some goals set? AI, probably not. AI only works if you have like a ton of data to feed the AI. What are we going to feed this with? Like, no, it's mystery box is a mystery. Well, no, it could be mystery box is a mystery, but you know what I mean. Oh yeah, this is another sheet, also cool. Yep. All right. I guess we can talk about penalties. So I guess the other thing that like, if we were to draw here, let's do a drawing here. Let's do slides.new. We are going to draw how do we do this? Okay, so we're gonna draw what the team supply is gonna kind of look like. So we'll probably see, as team launches, we'll probably see, something like that, where right away, a lot of minting, maybe the rate slows down a little bit, and then right at the end, we see a lot more minting. So maybe something like that is what it looks like on the, so this would be, let's draw a line at the bottom. So that, let's make this thicker so we can all see it. Maybe not that thick. Okay, so then now that means that, let's add some text in here. So mint phase end. And let's add a little arrow. Okay, so we have the mint phase ending right there. And then, so what happens at? So after the minting, now the team supply is doubled. So Control C, Control V. Let's get this up here. Okay. And now this upper bound of it is where it goes. And so let's just draw a straight line because it happens instantaneously. So now the total team supply instantly goes right there. Let's get rid of this. This is not a. So here we'll add some like little breakers there. So that's the minting. That's the user minting. Then that's the mystery box doubling. And then from there, what happens over time? Well, because if you were to start staking your team, and if you were to end stake during any one of the active staking periods, any one of those year periods, the amount of team that you unstake experiences a 3.69% penalty, where 3.69% doesn't get reminted into existence. So for example, let's say that you have, here, before I draw this line, let's just go back to this chart. So for the penalties, say you stake the 1,000 team, and then midway through the stake term, what if that team price is screaming? Like, what if it is pumping? And what if it went up 10x in that time period? And you're like, okay, if I sell 10% of my team right now, I'll pretty much get back my initial investment. So you're staked, you're going to be earning hex over that. So during that stake term, say you early unstake 100 of your team. You don't have to unstake all of it. You can just unstake part of it. So you unstake 100 team. What that means is that because of that 3.69% penalty, you only get back, you only remint into existence 1 minus 0.0369 times that. So you only get back 96.3 team. 900 of your team remains staked. So here, let's drag this over. So this is the initial. So initial stake amount early end staked. And then this is amount successfully staked. And then this right here is the amount that you actually got back. So if you early end stake, you experience that penalty only on the amount that you early end staked. And then the rest of whatever you didn't early end stake, that will continue to earn for that period. So at most, so let's take do the boundary condition thing again. If 100% of all team stakers early end staked 100% of their team every year, that would be a constant 3.69% deflation rate. So the hex or the team inflation rate is 0. After the launch, no new team will ever be minted more than that amount. So team inflation rate is 0, but it does have a deflation rate, which is variable. So if we said 100% of the total team is unstaked, then it's experiencing that total 3.69% deflation. But it's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be smaller. And so now let's go back to here. So maybe what we see as time goes on is that really modest end staking, and maybe it's like seasonal where it may be synced up with team price pumps. We'll probably see the most end staking during times of bull market, because as team price goes up, maybe the staking yield isn't as lucrative compared to team price appreciation. Some cohort of those users early end stakes goes down. They early end stake to sell into the pump, so that kind of curbs the price. That market kind of finds that cycle again, and so maybe these big increases here of where where the deflation is pretty substantial. So like, let's do transparent, but with a border that is yellow. You can't see that. Let's do, barely see that too. Let's make it thicker. So maybe during times of like these times of, very dramatic deflation, those are probably going to be around the time when the team price is pumping. Because like that's really the only reason why you'd early end stake, other than just like incidental personal reasons, is if the team price is pumping and you would rather sell into that pump than earn that hex yield from the team. So these probably will coincide with pumps in the price. And so it'll be seasonal, so like there could be, a couple time periods of like big, early end staking activity, which causes the total team supply to go down. So total team supply, like this. And maybe center it. So, it reaches this total top, and then maybe it just slowly decreases, and where there's faster deflation going on during times of pump. But maybe, what if over time it just gets really constant, and then it's just like, and there's very little early end staking, and then maybe it just kind of goes like that, But who knows? This all, purely the effects of the market, and that's unpredictable. But that's generally what it kind of will look like. And maybe it doesn't taper out. Maybe just let's get a nice looking chart here. Let's do this. Let's just spread that out, because that's reasonable, right? Like that would be pretty aggressive. But what if over time, the total team supply just kind of dwindles down? Because if you think about it, think about these dynamics here. If we're expecting a lot of early end staking to happen from team to be a result of team price pump, what causes or what aids in the price to pump? Low supply. So pumping the price of team decreases the supply. So now during the next pump, there's now less supply to compete with as a seller. So maybe that reduces sell side pressure. So maybe the next pump is even greater because now there's less supply, and then it goes down. And then maybe people are expecting there to be further decrease in supply, so they want to buy team because they think the supply is going down. So they buy the team, push the price up, causes the supply to go down. And it could cause this, cycle where every single stake cycle, we see a decrease in the team supply. And because there's less supply at each new cycle, maybe the pumps are even more aggressive and they're split up over less people. And so there's, like a slow dwindling where maybe the team total supply approaches zero. What would let's go back to our thing here. So this number so that's percent of MAXI minted into team, but let's also just like, just treat that as like a proxy for like the team supply approaching a very small number. So let's say that equals 0.002. So let's just say a very tiny, like the team supply approaches zero. For all the remaining team, that's 568 hex stake per team from all the pools across any 15-year period. That's 1,400 hex per team staked if this type of cycle unleashes, where early end stake penalty causes a supply crunch, and then over hundreds of years that supply dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. Then while these pools are growing, so that doesn't even factor in these pools growing, so ideally what happens is stake pools grow. Stake pools growing here. Let's draw this out here. New blank slide. I think there's like a shape. let's just do these ones. So we have, so perpetual stake pool grows. That means that team earnings, team staker earnings and if team staker earnings grow, that means team staking becomes more lucrative because it has capped supply, but the earnings are uncapped. That's capped by the hex supply. So team staking becomes more lucrative. If team staking becomes more lucrative, then demand for team increases. So people buy team. But what happens when people buy team? Then team price goes up. What happens when team price goes up? Then the team holders have, team stakers have more assets they can use to finance their own marketing campaigns. And then people financing their own marketing campaigns maybe causes the perpetual stake pools to grow. And the cycle starts over again. And then this one, let's just draw this arrow here. So, that's kind of the cycle that can happen, that's catalyzed by these perpetual stake pools growing, is that makes team staking more lucrative, enriches those team stakers, makes them want to grow that even more, makes them, want to compete for that and grow the top line revenue. So maybe they sell into the team pump to help finance marketing campaigns that drive hex adoption, drive staking adoption, all through these perpetual pools. So that's this cycle that we want to achieve, is large pools. Large pools mean big earnings mean high demand. High demand means high value in the team economy. High value in the team economy means bigger budget for marketing. And that's really the name of the game. So let's see if there are any questions. Hex token says any time frame update, public testnet, audit, launch date. So we're going to try to do a public test within the next 2 weeks. Can't guarantee it because I'm doing a lot of internal testing now. It's more like an economics audit. I'm not so worried about the contract breaking. It's more like, is everything I'm saying to you factual? And which it's looking like it is. So this is getting really close to doing that. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks, but I just need to work a little faster. He just had a text stream with cryptographics for this and said 2 weeks. Yeah. So many hex streams today. Yeah, so much knowledge. I can't even keep up with it all. I like the straight line up chart. Yeah, me too. Hexfire.io. Oh, yeah. So that's another interesting thing that came up was Hexfire.io. So someone made this chart which shows how the share rate ratchets up. And I think that they did what I was talking about earlier, where you pretty much take the earnings plus the principal of the oldest stakes ending every day, and then calculating what the new what that stake would cause the new share rate to be, and that's like at least the minimum. So that's, I think, what they did here. So this is actually a really useful tool. And so take a look at this. Maybe I'll do a full analysis on this one of these days, but yeah, Hexfire.io has some pretty good information that I haven't seen presented in this way before. So definitely check that out. Thanks for bringing that up, Hex Huddle. Yep. And then comes, yeah, oh my God, we haven't even talked about Pulse Chain. I just kind of treat the Pulse Chain stuff as just an extension of this current stuff. Since everyone's getting a copy, it's like no one's getting a copy. So it's all kind of the same bundling together. Public testnet, yeah. So we'll be doing pubic test. Hey, no cock talk. You know, you can shit talk, but no cock talk. Pubic testnet, that's funny. Yeah, we'll try to get that stuff out pretty soon. See what the MAXI price is. Oh no, someone's nuking the price. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna go make some dinner. Need to eat. Been working out hard, so I need to nourish my body. Doing a lot of working out, and I've been actually introducing a lot of organs to my diet. I eat a lot of meat and fruit, but organs are like the key superfood. So I have a friend who had a hunt recently, and he hunted an oryx, which is like a big oryx. I had a friend who hunted one of these, and I ate, and he gave me the heart and the liver. So I cooked that, and been eating that. I'm feeling great. You eat, especially liver and heart too. I mean, similar mineral composition. You eat that, holy shit, you get this like wave of primal energy. And what it really comes from, it comes from the vitamin B, very high vitamin B levels, the choline, which is very healthy for your brain, and carnitine. So basically stuff that's in pre-workout is in animal organs. And this is grass-fed. These are wild animals. So been eating that lately, and that's been like a power boost for me. A lot of really good energy for working out and for building this stuff. So highly recommend introducing some animal organs into your diet. I've been doing that lately, and I feel awesome. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say that. So been doing that lately, feeling good. Try to, that's really the best thing we can all do is just improve the food we're putting into our bodies, improve the way that, strengthen our bodies so that we can, have like long living, healthy bodies for, how many of these team cycles do you want to live through? I want to live through thousands. So best way to do that is nutrition and exercise and sleep. So make sure you guys are doing all those things. And I think I'll be signing off here. Let's go through the chat, see if there's any last questions. Thanks for the stream. Yep, of course, you guys. Happy to do this. Any more questions, reach out to me on Twitter. Go follow me there. But I'll play that song that I said I was going to play for the music video just because it's so good. This is honestly the best music video I've ever seen. And we'll watch this together as we tune out. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon. It's me, Golkey. What about Maximus Team Frisbees? How about that? Oh my God, that'd be sick. All right, we're making it. Do this move with them. That's like the team logo. It's meant to be. It's gonna be our price chart. You can get it with your love. If you want it, you can get it with your love. You can get it with your love. If you want it, you can get it with your love. Thank you so much, everybody. Had an awesome time with you. We'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.